anyone can understand, and if you don't, you can come and hit me. This is about solving problems involving nested radicals, known as the simplification of double square roots. How do you do it? You need to understand the principle behind it. Let's take the simplest example. For instance, if you're asked to simplify the square root of x, can you simplify it further? There's no way to simplify it further because it's already in its simplest form, right? But if you're asked to simplify the square root of x squared, can you simplify it further? Yes, it equals the absolute value of x, and you can continue to simplify it. So if you're asked to simplify it, it means that the radicand can definitely be converted into the form of someone's square. Understand? Yes, that's the principle behind solving these problems. In other words, what is our next goal? To convert it into the square of something. Now, what is our perfect square formula? The perfect square formula is a squared plus b squared minus 2ab. What does it equal? It equals a minus b squared. Everyone knows this, so let's match them up. You see, a squared plus b squared corresponds to 5, and then we subtract twice the square root of 6, with the minus sign corresponding to 2. So think about it. AB corresponds to the square root of 6, and a squared plus b squared corresponds to 5. Now try hard to figure out who a and b are, respectively. A times d equals the square root of 6, and a squared plus b squared equals 5. One of a and b is the square root of 3, and the other is the square root of 2. It doesn't affect the final result, who is the square root of 3 and who is the square root of 2. We know it must be the square of the square root of 3 minus the square root of 2. So, in this part, we can convert it to the square of the square root of 3 minus the square root of 2. Writing it as the square of the square root of 2 minus the square root of 3 doesn't affect it, because under the square root, its square is equal. It's the absolute value. What's its absolute value? The square root of 3 minus the square root of 2. Did you understand?